What's up, guys? It's Jay, MorninAfterKill, and I'm back here with some more Borderlands news and defamation. And right now, there's an issue that Gearbox just doesn't seem to be able to solve. And that's just exactly what to do with the endgame of Borderlands. Like, looking back over the past years, it's obvious that this is an area where Gearbox struggles in. Either they leave it open and vague and let the community figure out their own endgame, like in Borderlands 1 and 2, or they end up over-focusing on the endgame and they make the endgame activities that would be fun if they were options among other endgame design activities, but being the focal point of the entire designed endgame, they just really kind of fall flat on their face. You know, I'm kind of looking right at you. Arms Race and Chaos Chamber both were designed to be the endgame activity, and that's it. But once again, just kind of goes to show that Gearbox really has no idea what this community really wants in terms of endgame. Because any Borderlands fan will tell you that the funnest part of any Borderlands endgame lies in farming your build and gear to get strong enough to take on the big bads of the world. You know, once you finish the campaign and the game scales the rest of the enemies up to endgame level, now it's time for you to go out and get all your favorite gear from these mini-bosses at endgame level, and from there you can take your gear and test it out against a raid boss, say like Terramorphous. And then you rinse and repeat until another DLC comes out with new loot, big bads, and possibly even a level cap upgrade. Now, here's where you can take that entire endgame loop and you can actually turn it and take it and put a spin on it to make it an actual designed endgame activity by giving players control of the raid bosses. Wait, what? Yeah, you heard me. Instead of adding in like garbage like the pseudo PvP like dueling, or trying to figure out how to make Borderlands into a quasi battle royale, instead of like doing all that, why not actually give players control over the raid bosses in the franchise? You know, you could add in things like putting their attacks on cooldowns, you know, adding in different attacks that you could choose before the game so you don't know which attack the raid bosses is going to come at you. And then you let the Vault Hunters match up against real-life people controlling these bosses. And to make it even more interesting, you can introduce weapons that can only be dropped from these bosses after killing them. Like, say, take like elemental versions of weapons that shouldn't exist. Like, maybe this week a fire unkempt herald is dropping, or a different element of the grog nozzle, you know, or even low variant parts of weapons like the Sandhawk or interfacers, you know, these grail weapons that people chase. And then make them random drops from these bosses. And on the flip side, those that do choose to play as the boss, you know, there can be a pseudo battle pass type leveling system, which lets you pick one of these drops, like guaranteed every like 10 or 15 levels of XP gained on the boss progression side of things. And on the player side of things, you could add in things like seasonal skins and customizations that you could earn from progressing in the PvP side of things, while keeping the weapons still dropping from the bosses. And you can have this all self-contained with the game, earnable without microtransactions. That way, if you really do want to add in like a premium version of the battle pass, you can. But you don't stop players from still earning loot and customizations that they could take back with them to the PvE side of the game to show off. Like, imagine one of your friends shows up and he just murders Terramorphous with a fire unkempt herald. You're like, bro, where the fuck did you get at? And you're like, you got to play the PvP side of the game. And you see what I'm saying? It gets people going back and forth and creates a really satisfying endgame loop. Like, if Borderlands 2 had the ability to fight against raid bosses in an asymmetrical multiplayer PvP in the same way that Dead by Daylight allows 4 players to go up against 1 killer in a survival horror atmosphere, there's no doubt in my mind that that not only would have became like the top tier endgame activity, but also it would have given Gearbox a chance to really kind of let Borderlands 2 go through a longer content cycle and then not having to worry so much on things like Tales from the Borderlands or the pre-sequel in between Borderlands 3, and they can actually focus on that. You know, it lends itself really well to a live service that people would want to continually play because it has the fear of missing out on some of these top tier unicorn weapons that really shouldn't exist. And then you can even bring back like legacy weapons from like Borderlands 1 and be like, well, you know, we're gonna put fucking Cromorax inside here, and then now he's gonna be dropping, say, the fucking tsunami or fucking some shit like there are Serpens this week in Borderlands 1 from in Borderlands 2, and you're like, oh shit, like that would be crazy. That would be wild. Imagine having like a tsunami or a Serpens from Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2. Like the amount of creativity that this type of system would give Gearbox is almost limitless. Almost. My name's Jay, MorninAfterKill. I want to thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys rate, comment, subscribe. If you leave a thumb up on a video, I'd highly appreciate it because it gives me motivation to make more videos for y'all motherfuckers and watch my motherfucking videos. But this is just an idea that I've had kicking around in my head for like the last like 8 some odd years. And I really don't like to share these ideas out in public because it's obvious that Gearbox is never going to hire me. They're never going to fucking like be like, hey, you know, you got some good ideas. Even though I do, but they're never going to be like, yo, fucking all the bullshit and drama you've caused us over the years, like come on board with the pay. Nah, they're not going to do that. But fuck it. I'll give Gearbox a crumb because I got a whole ass script for Borderlands 4 written that Gearbox can use. It's amazing. Trust me. I have figured out how to fix the entire story in Borderlands, and you know, Gearbox can purchase that if they want, but they're not going to be cheap. My name's Jay. We're there to kill. I want to thank you guys for watching. I'm going to see y'all motherfuckers later.